Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to swap out the bucket for the quick disconnect. What we're going to do is I'm going to pull these two pins. I've already loosened the nuts on them. I'm going to drive them out. I'm going to take these pins and take them out, and then I've got to put these pins where these pins are. This is a 30mm nut. On the back side, if you'll come around here, I'll show you this. I've already pulled these out too. These are a 15mm bolt. These retain this in here. I pulled these out earlier. So these pins got to come out. Those pins got to come out of there, got to be put into here and put it all back together. So I started out by using the pry bar and just working the pin out. When I got to its point where the pry bar didn't work, I'm just going to take my crescent wrench, because I don't have a bigger wrench handy, and I'm just going to tap these out. That is going to let the bucket swing, by the way, which is coming up pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is put a little pressure on the bucket. You have to come over here. Well done. So I'm going to put a little pressure on the bucket and just let it wiggle loose like such. And I'm going to put these nuts back on here, and I'm going to find a place to put them that's not just uber dirty. All right. Now this one will be a little bit more tricky because we'll have a little bit of weight on it. I say it's going to be tricky. It may be easier. Okay, so basically to drop the bucket, I just got a little bit of weight underneath it, and this bolt slid right out. So I'll put the nut back on it for now. Same thing, I'm gonna store it in a somewhat clean area. From here, I'm gonna pull these bolts out, these pins, and reverse the process. So I think how this works is I'm going to pull these two pins here, 13mm socket, and I'm assuming 13mm nuts on the bottom, and slide those pins out. Guess I didn't need a tool, these were loose. And put my nuts back on. Okay, those are out. Let's see how hard the pins are to move. Yeah. Gonna have to drive them out, I think. Okay, I don't have a better tool on me to drive these out, so I'm just going to use a extension and lightly tap them out. You have to be careful doing something like this because you can mushroom the pin and make it nearly impossible to put back in. So, and the pins are free. Probably going to leave them about like that. All right, next step. I'm almost positive it goes like this. Yes. And I'm going to pull one pin out. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Are you pointing at me or? grease hole and that pin are about equal, so that'll help me eyeball where that hole needs to be when I drive it through. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is just tighten my pins. Just going to put my socket on there and tighten it. I'm not going to over tighten it because it does have a jam nut. So there's that, and then this jam nut should be able to just be tightened. There again, not going to over tighten my jam nut either because I don't want to tear stuff up. And I'll just check these as I'm using it. All right, last thing I need to do is grease everything now. It's hot. I'm fixing to put grease in this. If you'll come over here and look, grease is starting to spit out the side here. That's what you're looking for. If you don't see any grease coming out, you don't have any grease in it. All right, so that one's done. I'm gonna go ahead and hit these while I'm here. All right, now the back one, actually I'm gonna hit the sides of the pins. There we go. All right. So I'm using the Milwaukee 12-volt grease gun. Got it on sale at Home Depot with 2 batteries for $200.